What'd it do? One last ride with the hair. It's like a couple hours. I got an appointment to chop it off forever. I don't think I'm gonna miss it. Great face in the thumbnail. I don't even know how I did that. I think that's it. Whose side am I on, the goodies or the baddies? Who are the goodies and who are the baddies is the question. I'm confused about that. Who are the goodies and who are the baddies these days? I feel like it used to be easier to figure it out, right? It used to be way simpler to figure out who the goodies and who the baddies were. But nowadays, are we the baddies? How's the J? Potent. It's hitting the spot. Let's put it that way. Got some coffee coming too. I need that more than I think I need the J. Smoker's lung. Well, it definitely ain't non-smoker's lung. That definitely ain't what's going on. Free Diddy? Tree Fitty. Free Diddy for Tree Fitty. Tell you what, you pay me Tree Fitty, I'll free Diddy. Touché. Oui, absolument. Why hasn't there been a rapper named Tree Fitty yet? Is it because 50 Cent already has Fitty locked down? Tree Fitty. That's the best rapper name. There's been a rapper named Tree Fitty? Oh, okay. I guess he sucked, because I never heard of him. Too derivative, yeah. I'll grab my nuts for an edit. I'll grab my sack for an edit if you want. Come back when you're looking for a sack grab for an edit, because I'll do that shit. I'll grab my sack for an edit. This isn't a blunt. This is a self-rolled tobacco cigarette. Hand-rolled. Bashi Babu, Bashi Babu. That's a pretty cool name. Well, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds official. All give praise to the High Sultan of India, Baji Babu the Third. Nice beard. Enjoy it while it lasts. In like a couple hours or so, I've got an appointment with a stylist, and I'm getting a haircut. I'm getting a beard trim. I'm doing it up. Are you an accountant? I would be the world's worst accountant, bro. I don't think you've ever met a person that's at um, worse at math. See, I couldn't even think of the name of it. I think you could come up with a person worse at math than me. Manfredo. Sick. I trust Paul with managing my finances. I wouldn't. The hardest Robotnik. I don't think I've got the mustache for the Robotnik. Do you trust Monkey with your banana account? It's true. I don't believe in the stock market. I don't think that I don't think it's a savings plan to gamble your money. You know, like I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me. You need a bald head too. Yeah, I don't want to do bald. I've still got a pretty decent hairline, so I want to take advantage of that, and I want to get like a cool haircut. Maybe with something with a hard part. I'm thinking about the hard part. I'm gonna ask the barber about it. Like, does he recommend the hard part? It's a little different from gambling because you can recover your losses in theory. Well, I mean, in theory, you can recoup your losses gambling as well. Stock market isn't gambling. Dude, yes, it is. Yes, it is. The stock market has crashed multiple times just in my life, and people have lost the farm. Literally. So, yeah, it's a casino. You park your money there. You're crossing your fingers that a giant market correction doesn't wipe out half your money. You don't take the loss until you sell. Right, but when people take losses in the stock market, it's a stopgap loss, right? So they go like, fuck. All right, Nvidia is cratering or Tesla is cratering. And if I pull out now, I'll have $50,000. And if it continues on this trajectory, by this time tomorrow, I'll have 20. So I'm going to pull it out now and keep the 50, right? It's the same. Like the mentality is the same for gambling. You don't have to load up all your money into the machine, and you don't have to cash out on a spin. You're sitting in front of the one-armed bandit. You put a $20 into the machine, right? You don't have to pull the arm. You can technically recoup your money. You don't lose money till you pull the arm. right? There's nobody forcing you to load your life savings up into the one-armed bandit. And there's nobody forcing you to pull the handle over and over again, right? That's gambling, right? Nobody's forcing you to take your hard-earned money and put it in the stock market, and nobody's forcing you to sell when your stock tanks, right? But you take a loss as soon as stock drops. So if you buy stock at $50 and you wake up tomorrow and that stock is trading at $25, you took a $25 loss. And the question is, do you want to take a $30 loss, or do you want to get that $25 out? It's the same thing. You take $100 to the casino and you want to double it, and you get down to $20. Do you want to walk away with the 20? Do you want to call it good and walk out with something in your pocket? Or do you play the whole fucking thing? It's the same shit. Like, for example, somebody who lost 50 grand in the stock market during the 2008 crash could have actually made money if they'd invested more and waited right. And the dude that lost half his life savings gambling could have made more if he'd have just played baccarat, which has better odds. You know, theoretically, if you'd made the right moves at the right time and gambled the right way on the right machines that were ready to hit, he could have made tons of money. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. You see what I'm saying? Not until you sell, though. If you wait until it goes back up, sometimes it doesn't go back up, Phoebes. Then you've got to move your money to something else and hope it goes up, right? It's the same as a gambling game. You are making a guess that line will go up. And if line goes down, uh-oh, you just lost money. There's lots of failing companies. There's lots of mergers that happen where people end up eating shit on the stock because it gets doubled. I'm talking about a casino, is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a casino that has several different gambling games that you can play. One of them is shorting. You can short the market. One of them is commodities. You can trade a commodity rather than trade in a company. Right? Just like you walk into a casino and there's baccarat, blackjack, poker, every different type of one-armed bandit. Phoebe Wright, Paul being cynical again. You think so? I think Paul just describing reality. If it was true that everybody can just make money in the stock market eternally, then there would never be anybody that's lost it all in the stock market. Right? Commodities trading is the same. Like, listen, if we learned anything in the last 3 months, Phoebes, it's that one government official can say one thing on Twitter and crash the stock market. So if you're telling me throwing a bunch of your money into the stock market and crossing your fingers that somebody doesn't say something that crashes it isn't gambling, then I don't know what gambling is, I guess. I don't understand gambling. Yeah. If you put money into a stock, you are betting, right? So let's say you buy NVIDIA. You're betting that NVIDIA is going to be worth more tomorrow. Was it gambling for those Trump was informing beforehand? No. Neither is it gambling for people who cheat. But there are rules against that in a gambling environment, right? You're not allowed to sit and card count. You're not allowed to use mechanics to hide cards and stuff. You could. You could, and that lets you tip the odds, right? Yes, I know how to play Texas Hold'em. Yeah. You get 3 cards, and you're building a community hand from, what's called the flop, right? I would be perfectly happy existing $10,000 in Palantir right now if I had it, because Palantir is getting more government contracts under Trump. Right. Your gamble is that Palantir's government contracts are going to pay off and that there's not going to be any corporate scandal regarding Palantir, any leaks of information that cause Palantir to become less valuable. You're betting that Palantir won't be acquired by another company that splits the stock up. You're betting. So if you put money in Palantir right now, you are betting that line will go up. For all you know, the CEO of Palantir might get caught with his dick in a toddler tomorrow. Uh-oh, your Palantir stock just got worth garbage. Guess the gamble didn't work out. Yeah, you're assuming that none of the... I'm assuming that I'm not going to sit here and lose my life savings at the poker table. I know how to do that, right? I know how to play poker, so I'm assuming that when I take this 10K, I'm going to turn it into 20, right? Because line go up. It's different from poker. You can predict the behavior of companies in a way. Wrong. You know that people that play poker at the highest level are not playing the cards, they're playing the player. This is just like standard poker knowledge. So you're actually describing an environment that's exactly like poker because you're looking at the company for tells. Is this company overstating its stock profits? How long has it been since this company actually had a corporate showing? How long has it been since this company opened the books? When was the last audit of this company? You're reading the company, you're reading signs, right? That you think that the company has got something really good in the works or that they're bluffing. So you actually just described poker. You can read what a company might do by paying attention to how it's acting. Really? If you couldn't predict the behavior of cards, nobody would ever win at 21. Nobody'd ever win at blackjack. Nobody would ever win at poker, right? You don't understand what gambling is? There's a game. Can you win? Yes. Can you play conservatively and have stop losses and stuff that keep you from losing all your money and make you a little bit of money as you go? Yes. Is it gambling? Yes. Was I talking about stock trading or poker just now? You tell me. Yeah. And even if you're following all the trade papers and all the scuttlebutt, buying stock is still a gamble, right? You can be as careful as you want. How many of the people that lost their entire livelihoods in the stock market crash in the 20s? How many of those people do you think spent their day poring over corporate profit reports? Probably quite a few of them. They didn't see it coming. And it exploded right in their faces. People were jumping off of high rises in New York because they were ruined. You're going to tell me that's not gambling? Okay. Okay, buddy. Whatever you say. life itself is a gamble. No, no. We're talking about money. You give money and you are betting when you buy a stock that line go up. That is a gamble. Life is not a gamble, right? Because life doesn't exist because money. Money exists because life. So it's backwards. Yeah, metaphorically speaking, you could say everything's a gamble, but whatever. Then if that's the case, it just underlines what I'm saying. Nobody knows how to predict life, and nobody knows how to predict the stock market. Are you MAGA? Let me come up with a cool acronym for MAGA that I can self-apply. I can't think of one. Make asses gigantic again. There you go. I'll do that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I am MAGA if that's what it means. Make asses giant again. Yes. But outside of that, no. It's less of a... Here we go. Palantir would lose value, get sold off. Right, but you are gambling that you're going to be one of the ones that's hawking the stock market and makes money, moving money right then. Right? That's the gamble. The gamble is you're going to be lucid and liquid at the time when Palantir's CEO gets caught doing whatever he's doing. Or Palantir itself gets targeted with a huge government investigation because of insider trading. Right? That's your bet. Your bet is that this company's line going to go up. And if line go down, your bet is you're going to be limber and liquid enough to get out of it before you lose too much. That's the gamble. And most people lose the gamble. The house wins, right? That is one of the rules of gambling. Nobody beats the casino. And when you do, they get real pissed and they make sure you never do it again. That's a very, very rosy estimation of what would happen to a company that got targeted and broken up by a federal investigation. Or had a CEO caught trafficking children or something. You have a rosy estimation of what would happen and what the price at buyout would be. But see, this is why we're talking about a casino. Yeah, it would be an utter loss. Yeah. They get parceled out. The buyout is pennies on the dollar oftentimes for companies that are scandaled out and getting absorbed. Pennies on the dollar. Pennies. Just wait. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, dude, yeah. Because that's the way money works, right? You've got 100 years to wait for the theoretical value of your investment to come out, right? You got nothing planned in the next 20, right? You definitely got forever to sit and wait for your giant losses to turn into huge wins. Nobody's ever lost their fucking ass on that principle. Not a single person has lost a fortune and squandered it on that principle. Sometimes sitting and leaving your money static in the stock market is the absolute worst thing that you can do. absolute worst thing you can do. How tall is Paul? Well, yeah. I mean, it's not just the stock market that fucks normal people, though, right? It's gambling at a casino that fucks average people, right? Rich people have the liquidity to make giant bets that cover their losses. Poor people have to dip into their mortgage payment to do so, right? We're talking about the inherent, like, unfairness of capitalism. Of course. Capitalism is, you know, sorry for gaslighting. It is whatever. I'm not no expert on the stock market, but I know what a casino is. And I know how a casino works. It's gambling at every level, but just like at a casino, if you've got massive amounts of liquidity, the chances of you covering your losses and making a profit are much higher than a person that walks in with $500 in a drain. But it's just another reason why the stock market almost mirrors a casino. Hello, baby. You get your coffee?
Yeah.
I got my meds already this morning. Just so you know, because you're usually fussing over that.
What, baby?
I don't know how you become addicted to gambling. If I lose, I'm going home. People get addicted to the highs and lows. So it's a giant endorphin dump when you win, and the crawling back up from a pit when you take a bad beat gives you another big endorphin rush. So there are people just kind of chasing dopamine, right? You bet $50, you win $20 on the bet, you get a little endorphin rush because you just watched money appear out of nowhere, and then you bet it all and you double it up, and holy shit, you know what I mean? That's what they're addicted to. They're addicted to the cycle of, fuck, I'm losing, god damn it, I'm in the hole, I can't do it, fuck yes, I won, right?
Also, our brains are not good at big numbers that are involved with gambling statistics.
Yeah.
So, like, people will believe, well, I'm due for a win. That's not how chance works. You're not due for a win.
Right.
After so many hands or whatever.
So how do you account for people's 401ks usually going up? Is it just responsibly gambling? Yes. So if I were to compare a 401k to something in the casino, I would compare it to roulette. There are ways that you can place bets because there's no limit to what spaces you can place a bet down on. There are ways that you can place bets in roulette that you have to take the worst beat in the world to lose. You might not make any money. You might end up covering one bet with another, right? But there are ways that you can kind of endlessly spin roulette by placing strategic bets and kind of guarantee that you slowly but surely might make money. At least you don't lose, right? So it's like that. It's like roulette.
Lower
What you're
risk, lower
right.
reward.
What you're doing is you're a 401k defers risk across multiple stable companies. So what a 401k is it's betting on these stable companies, these companies that are known quantities, that are large movers in the market, that have a stable business, right? But it's still a bet. You're still putting chips down on each part of the thing. Now, one bet might lose and the other one might cover. This bet might slowly pay off over time, right? Or you might just take the bad beat hit and you lose the whole board. Uh-oh, it's roulette. That's a 401k is roulette. You can place bets all over the board strategically to cover your losses and to ensure a minimum gain. But you catastrophically roll and everything on the table goes to the dealer and you're in the hole again.
401ks are also usually kept for a longer time scale than like a day trade.
Right, and
So
there are massive penalties to taking early payments out of 401k and shit.
So you're basically betting not only on the diversity of companies, but just time. Like any one catastrophic event will be absorbed by slow growth. Ideally.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's all gambling. It's all gambling theory. There's a direct and complete comparison between a casino and the stock market. They operate on the same principles. There are rules for how much you can gamble in a day, how much money you can move from here to here. There are gambles on how many maximum bets you can make during the day. There are rules to the minimum bets that you can make to enter the game, right? And the house wins. That's the other part.
I think probably the trickiest part of the stock market is just human psychology.
Well, I mean, that's gambling in general is a manipulation of human psychology.
Yeah, but I mean,
it is the gambler's fallacy is a super easy, a super common and easy way to manipulate human thought. The idea that eventually this has to pay off.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna pull the Pokemon card that makes buying these $50 packs worth it. Eventually,
because our brains are not good at big numbers.
No, they're not good at probability, which is huge numbers.
Yeah, even being able to calculate it on a calculator, your brain, unless you're like some kind of savant, you're not calculating that in your brain.
Yeah, people that are like math experts and math doctorates and stuff might have a better idea of this, but I guarantee you they would be talking just like I am in terms of gambling, right? They might be able to more accurately give you probabilities and stuff, but the truth of the matter is they're going to have the same conclusion, right? Gambling is gambling. Probability is probability. It's not inevitability.
Yeah, cumulative probability is not the same. It's not like you have a 1 in 6 chance and you're going to hit by the 6th.
Right.
It's 1 in 6 every single time.
Right. 1 in 6 every time. Right. It's not you're not banking losses hitting that 6.
People think that they are.
Right. Right. That's why people are afraid of flying, even though the odds are 1 in 25 million of dying in a plane crash. It's true. I mean, it's true. I'm afraid of flying for that reason. I become more afraid of flying every time I see a jet with the door blown open, or a jet that had a fucking landing gear failure. Remember that a couple months ago? That jet that just had a belly land and exploded. Yeah, every time I see one of those things happen, I get a little bit more afraid of flying. Yeah.
Even though you're not paying attention to the car crashes.
Right. I don't buy right. And I'm way more likely to die in a car accident. But I'm just fine getting in my car and driving wherever you need me to drive you. You get more viewers if you let your chat have free speech. I don't care about viewers. Yeah, I'm a different breed. I am not try-harding here. I don't care if you subscribe. I don't care if you stick around. I don't care what the watch time is. I don't give a fuck. You're invited to chill here with me in my backyard for as long as I want to stream. And if you don't like that, scroll on, brother. I'm not here begging.
Free speech from the chat.
It's retarded, man. It's fucking retarded, dude. Yeah, I don't need viewers. I'm good right where I'm at or below. Happy. Yeah, I'm not the government, and my backyard is not a free speech zone. I get to decide what kind of shit you talk in my house, in my domicile. I make the rules. You say something that tweaks my nose or offends my sensibilities, get the fuck out. I make the rules. I am the one who knocks. Yeah, I literally have hired an unpaid Gestapo. I've conscripted an unpaid Gestapo. And you know what they do? They watch everything that you do. And if you offend dear leader, they obliterate you in the public square. Okay? You don't like it? Go find a free speech zone where somebody's like titty streaming or gambling or playing some video game in a tiny little window. You know, go find it. Go get a free speech zone. Who's dear leader? You're looking at him, kid. The alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. It starts with me and it ends with me.
Here's what you're getting in exchange. The people that give you unlimited free speech in the chat aren't looking at it because they would go insane.
Mm-hmm. Unlimited free speech in the chat comes with a streamer that is ignoring chat while it just like... Right? You want interaction with a streamer? There's got to be rules. Period. This is not nom. This is bowling. There are rules. Okay? Okay. Man, the birds are just singing today.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was good enough to pick out individual bird songs so I could know, okay, what we're listening to is a nuthatch and a chickadee and a stellar jay. We still enforcing the must have a PFP policy. I mean, if they're stupid and no PFP, yes. The no PFP policy, I just lost heart. But yeah, it's definitely something, as a mod, put your eyebrow up. No PFP, stupid, apropos of nothing comment, they gotta go. They gotta go. That's what we call the quick and dirty alt. Probably been banned before. Because it literally takes like 3 seconds to add a PFP to your account, and it's something that most people do. So it's actually odd how many alts don't take the time to just grab a quick picture of anything and put it up, because it makes them stand out like the absolute sorest thumb on the fucking planet. It takes 1 second to get a profile pic, and if you don't have one, it makes me think that you're on your 50th alt and you get banned pretty often and you're just lazy as fuck. I can't think of a reason why you'd interact in a place that has a whole profile system and not do anything with it, other than you're super used to getting banned over and over again. So it doesn't bode well for you not having a profile pic. I'm just letting you know. The first thing I think when I see somebody with the default profile pic is low effort troll. And I'm typically right. There's a gamble for you. I'm putting all my money on, if you don't have a profile pic, you are most likely a very low effort troll. And if what you say over the course of your comment leans into that, you're just banned. That's just the way it works. Is Mr. Naughty Priest a psyop? How so? A psyop in what way? I don't know what the... Paint the picture for me. How are we psyoping? We will be announcing the meetup tonight. So tune in tonight. We're doing our onion nuggets early because Scotty's birthday is this weekend. And Scotty is traveling for that. No, Scotty's birthday isn't this weekend, but they are traveling for something. The boys are going somewhere, so we had to do a Thursday show. So tonight we will be announcing, but the meetup will be in New Jersey. Close to NYC, East Coast meetup. Let's go.
If you want to be 110% sure, watch the show so you know we're in Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, don't buy any tickets or anything until you know where in Jersey. That'll all be revealed tonight. But yes, we did announce that November 1st in Jersey will be the meetup. Yeah, you might have to take some time off, MJ. So November 1st is a Saturday. So it will be a weekend. There you go, MJ. Get off work on Friday. Hop the plane. Get you a little hotel somewhere near the venue. Go to the show the next day. Fly out the day after that. And you're home in time for fucking work on Monday. Boom. What's the last place in the U.S. you would want a meetup? Florida. Florida is my least favorite state that I've ever been to. By a pretty comfortable margin, too. I hated everything about Florida. Hated the weather, I hated the people, I hated the traffic, I hated the cities, I hated the layout, I hated the expense of it all, I hated the tourism, I just hated the fuck out of Florida in a way that I've never really felt repulsed by a state. I've been in some states that I didn't like much.
But you were going to Orlando, weren't you?
well, I've been to Orlando. I've been to Pensacola. I've been in and out of Florida a few times. And Pensacola's okay, but I don't consider that Florida. That's panhandle shit. We're talking like the dick.
Mhm.
Anywhere on the dick, miss me with it.
And if you're on the panhandle, you might as well be in a neighboring state
Yeah.
to the panhandle.
You might as well be in Georgia or some shit. Right? You're pretty close to the fucking panhandle in Louisiana. So, yeah. Louisiana's another state that is just, you know, whatever. It's got its upsides, and I can see why some people like it, but it ain't for me, bro. Not walkable at all. Like, they haven't invented sidewalks yet.
Yeah, except New Orleans, where it smells like vomit
Right.
and piss.
Well, down in the quarter, yeah, there's sidewalks because they want people walking around shitting and pissing in the streets and spending their money and getting drunk and getting pickpocketed and stuff. So, yeah, that's the whole economy down there. So, but yeah, no, any other part of New Orleans or anywhere else on the fucking Pontchartrain there, the chances of your little city having sidewalks in it, 0.0. They haven't been invented yet. All right. They're still a little behind us. Well, you know, I know that Jersey is not the greatest fucking place, but it's, you know, it fits the bill. Like, here's the deal. We looked for a long time and pondered for a long time over an East Coast meetup. And the truth of the matter is that venues that are actually in New York City are incredibly expensive compared to the surrounding area, right? And Jersey being right over the fucking tunnel or whatever the fuck from Manhattan makes total sense because it's easy for people in that area to get to, right? It's easy for people that are kind of in the region to get to. It's a main hub. It's right there. You can fly in easy. So, and the venue was fucking super reasonable, and it's a badass venue too. Well, you could probably like put in on the schedule too, MJ. Like if you talk to your manager, like because it's way out, right? So if you talk to your manager and be like, "Hey, I need a Friday off in November."
Or I guess it would be October. Halloween would be the
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
before it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's tough, right? Because you'd be asking for Halloween off. That's kind of tough, especially when you're new at a job. Be different if you'd been there a couple of years. You pull rank and be like, "Hey, I need somebody to cover this because I'm going to be out of town. I got a family thing."
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask.
You could, hey, the earlier you ask, I wouldn't call in sick. Don't plan to call in sick ever. Do that spontaneously when you're sick. Call like just talk to your manager. Just be chill about it. Say like, "Hey, I got a family thing." You don't have to tell your manager the truth. Just be like, "Hey, I got a wedding in my family, or I got a big event in my family. It's on Halloween, you know, but I wanted to let you know, like, I might need that day if it's possible. If it's not, I'll make it work. You know what I mean? But I want to let you know early."
Yeah, and if you let them know now, they'll probably forget by the time
Well,
Halloween
if you let
comes around.
no, I mean, if you let them know now,
Yeah.
and they put it on the books, then you just remind them as it gets closer. Like, remember we
But
talked.
if they don't put it on the books, they'll probably forget you asking.
Well, that's why you make
now.
sure to let them know, like, "Hey, if I can get this, I really want to lock it in now early so that it's not a big surprise for you and I don't have to worry."
Yeah.
And if the worst thing she can say is no.
But they should, like, if they're determined to not give it to her on the 31st, this should be enough time for them to forget that she asked, so she could just call in sick.
Yeah, I guess, but that's just bad juju. Is like ever planning. I'm just gonna take sick days.
Yeah.
Because you need those, and you end up taking the sick days to do fun stuff, and then you get fucking sick, and they go like, "Why are you calling in sick every week?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, you might not be able to get that Halloween off, but if you plan it out to where it's like, you know, you can get late flights. You work the graveyard, you plan it out, you go into work, you finish up your shift, you go straight to the to the airport. You've got your bags packed. You got them out back in the break room or wherever you guys stash your stuff, right? You got, you don't need a ton of stuff because you're just going for a day, right? So you just pack a little duffel bag of your stuff. I have a feeling Mary Jane travels heavy because Mary Jane is stylish. But anyway, you get what you need, right? Go straight, get you some food, and then straight to the airport. Get on the plane, get you a little hotel room, right? Because you're going to want to spend the night after, and go to sleep. Like when you get there, when you land, go to sleep till meetup time. Get up, freshen up, do the meetup, fly home the next day. I get off Saturday at 6 a.m. November 1st. Oof. Yeah, that makes it tough, don't it? Well, I mean that would be what you would have to do. I mean, the flight from Arizona to Jersey, that's what, probably going to be 6 hours in the air.
More like 8, I think.
Yeah, you're pushing it. It is November 1st. Yes, November 1st, the day after Halloween. It's a Saturday in New Jersey. That might be kind of tough, MJ. Yeah, but I really do hope to see you there. It'd be really cool.
No, I guess they're not that bad. They're like 5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 5-6 hours in the air.
I was, because I forget how inland Arizona is.
Mm.
I think it's just like
it's the southwest
level of California, but it's not. It's tucked.
It's tucked way in. Yeah, it's the southwest. It's the true southwest. So it's more eastern and inland.
I've been too coastal my life. I just think of everything as like it's kind of close to the coast, right?
I mean, yeah, I feel the same way. But having lived in Arizona, I know it is landlocked as fuck. You don't ever see standing water, No. It would be doable, MJ, I think, if you booked it just right? You're getting off at 6 a.m. It takes a certain amount of time. So if, let's say you book a flight for 9, right? You're ready to go as soon as you get off work. You got your bags, so you just take your car straight to the lot, park it, get in there, get checked in good and early, get on your flight, right? So let's say your flight is for 9:30 or 10, right? Let's say it's 10. Right? 10 to 5 in the air. Check into your hotel. Meetup will probably start around 7, right? So that gives you time to get checked into your hotel and everything. Hit the meetup, party, go back to your hotel, sleep in, and have your flight for later in the day. And you're back home. Really hope I can go to the meetup this year. Oh, yeah. I hope so, too. It'll be cool. I think it's going to be a really heavily attended meetup because we just haven't. It's been a long time since we've done a meetup that was in striking distance of the Eastern Seaboard. Better than Louisiana. Louisiana is not exactly an easy trip from the Eastern Seaboard. It's not exactly close, not exactly cheap. So this is going to give people that live on that Eastern Seaboard, because I'm sorry, dude. Coming from California, being a Californian, I know what a road trip is, okay? You live in Florida, you can fucking get in your car and in a day's driving be in Jersey. That's fucking based, right? If you live in Virginia, fucking half a day's drive and you're in Jersey. So I don't want to hear about it, all right? I don't want to cry baby about it. If you're on the Eastern Seaboard, you can get there, baby. Don't talk to a Californian about a long drive, okay? You don't know a long drive. How old do you have to be to go to this meetup? I believe it's 21 plus.
Almost every single one of them has been.
Yeah, we've only done a couple of 18 plus venues, and I don't really see a reason to do it. So this is a drinking venue. You got to be drinking age, 21 over. It's the longest drive you've ever done?
I'd say the one that was like 18 hours in a day.
That's the longest one I've done with you.
Yeah. And then I don't know if Louisiana to California was longer and we broke it up.
Well, we broke it up into two.
Yeah.
So we did Louisiana, we did New Orleans to,
I think Amarillo, Texas.
yeah, something up in the panhandle of Texas up there.
Yeah.
So we did, yeah, New Orleans to Amarillo, and then Amarillo to Madera.
Yeah.
So those are pretty long drives. That's 10, 11, 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
We did do Fresno to Seattle
Mm-hmm.
in one shot, and that was 18.
Mm-hmm.
I did Madera to San Antonio with one stop, and that was over 24 hours on the road. I believe the longest that I've ever driven contiguously was Ohio to Texas. I didn't stop. I left Columbus, Ohio, and drove through the night and pulled into San Antonio, Texas. So I think that is officially the longest drive I've ever taken.
Yeah, it looks like it's just slightly longer than the Madera to Seattle.
Yeah. I've done the Jersey to Florida drive a few times, 18-ish hours. It's not that bad with two people. That's what I'm saying. If you plan ahead and you break it up, it's a doable thing. So don't talk to me.
Would you be tempted to drive all the way to Jersey from here? Or do you think it's not worth it?
Not in our car.
No.
If we had a gas car or whatever, maybe. I wouldn't be tempted, but it would be doable, right? We'd have to plan it out, and it would be a multi-day event. And it would probably make sense to try and do it in a leisurely way and see some things on the way.
Yeah.
So like a whole week just making the drive, and then you do it fast on the way back. So the way back would be 2 or 3 12-hour days.
But that's a lot of time off just driving.
Yeah. I'd be, doing nothing but driving for a week and change. So Probably not. You know what might maybe be doable is visiting the guys via road trip.
Yeah. They're pretty inland.
They're way inland, but it's a shorter drive than all the way to the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
And if we did something like rent a car for a long trip, rent a gas car here, that offsets, the price of that would offset the price of tickets. And we do airfare back. That's a doable thing. You know what I mean? Anything I can do to reduce the plane is something that that will consider in my brain. But when we're talking going all the way to the east,
there's too many mountains.
Yeah.
Too much bullshit.
Yeah. Too much unforeseen bullshit could happen on a long road trip. And if you're on a fucking tight schedule where if you're not there, you miss the meetup, that's fucked. You don't want to ever put that. But, you're kind of putting your shit in the hands of the air companies, too. You could have a fucking cancellation to your flight, and they can't get you on one. So if you don't plan right, you're fucked even with airfare. I hate traveling. You know what? I wish that we lived in a simple fucking society. I wish that we had bullet trains. Why don't we have fucking bullet trains? Why? Dude, can you imagine a bullet train from the West Coast to the East Coast that takes a day? You load up on it, and it's nonstop. Just... It'd be crazy.
And I don't think they would fund it if it was nonstop. I think they'd have to justify some stops to...
Well, however the case may be, even with stops, can I please just live in a modern country? I feel like I live in the Stone Age.
Well, it's the airline companies that lobbied against it.
I know.
Because it'd be a direct competitor to them.
I know.
But the thing is, airports have gotten so crazy that there's just too many people trying to fly. And it would be easier for them and for people traveling if less people flew.
Right.
But because they lobbied against alternatives, now everyone's fucking trying to get on a plane at the same time.
Yeah.
Even though they're over capacity.
Right.
Almost all the time.
Yes. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. But I feel like that we are sucking hind tit to pretty much everybody else in the world when it comes to transportation, and travel. I think that the only thing maybe that we've got on other places is the contiguous nature of our roads nationally. I think our road system is actually kind of special. So my preferred way of traveling within the continental United States is driving, because as unpredictable as it can be, it's predictably unpredictable, right? It's the best bet. You have control over most of the flow of it, and you can make contingencies that change the flow of it, right? So if you are driving and you see that you're about to go through a big city and it's rush hour and the traffic is building up, you can look for an alternate route that'll be a little less trafficy and save you an hour worth of sucking fumes, right?
Or you can time when you leave so you avoid it, too.
Right. You buy a plane ticket, you're handing your whole experience over to the company. You're hoping that the mechanics all do their job. You're hoping the pilot shows up. You're hoping that the plane is in good working order. You're hoping that they've been running well all day so they're not behind.
That 2 or more airports have their shit together.
Yep. You're just handing over all of that stuff. Now, there's some stuff you can't control. You have a blowout, right? But you mitigate that. You have a blowout. It's you that mitigates the blowout. You hit traffic. It's you that deals with the traffic, right? You at least have options when you're in the car. You pay for a fucking plane ticket. You're handing over your itinerary to a bunch of different entities that are understaffed and overexpensive and bloated and stupid and bureaucratic. And you're hoping that they do the magic trick of getting your ass on the plane, getting the plane in the air within an hour of when they told you it would, and getting you to your destination without any incident. What about crazy drivers and black swan events? No, I understand the math to the extent that I can. All right, I get that it is more dangerous for me to drive, right? But that math is contingent on a bunch of other things. I am what is called a defensive driver. Okay? I've been in a lot of car accidents that I had nothing to do with, right? And so I drive carefully and defensively, not slowly, not timidly, but defensively. I don't ride people's ass. That lowers the chances that I'm going to be in a car accident by a significant margin.
You don't let other people ride your ass if you can help it.
I don't let other people ride my ass. If somebody's trying to do 80 in the 70 and I'm in the fast lane doing 75 and they're riding my ass, I wait for when it's safe and I move over and I let them go. I drive defensively. I keep my eyes moving on the road so I'm aware of threats as they might emerge so I can react to them, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not a perfect driver. I do stupid shit and I do absent-minded shit sometimes, right? But overall, my driving record is very, very safe.
The only accident we've gotten into together is someone pulling out in a parking lot. You can't anticipate that.
Right. It was an old man backed into us as we were pulling into a parking lot spot. I was backing up as well to maneuver my car into the spot. He wasn't paying attention.
And
my
he just
car
zoomed out.
Yeah, he just fucking pulled out, hit me.
Faster than our car could react, because
Right.
our car has auto braking.
Our car auto braked, but he hit us. You know, and I explained the basics of that to him, and also explained, you know, it didn't do any significant visible damage to our car. He had a little scratch on his bumper, and I was like,
Yeah, he was gonna make a thing of it, and then he saw like we have cameras.
Yeah.
like we.
I told him. I told him when I walked over there. He's like, well, you backed into me, and I said, sir, I have cameras. I have 8 cameras on this car, and that is not the case. I was lining my car up for the parking spot. You backed into me, and you didn't look. What do you want to do? Well, I guess we'll just let it go.
I mean, he realized how new our car was too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, I guess we will. It's retarded.
Yeah. It was the Bay Area.
Yep. Just like the hate train driving through that area.
Yeah.
Everybody near the freeway and on that drive is just hateful, spiteful, angry, pissed off, been sucking fumes all day. Yeah.
And we even tried to do the edge of the Bay Area, but it wasn't good enough.
No.
You got to be outside the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Well outside.
Well outside. Yeah. It's the most traffic-filled area you have lived in. Maybe this one? Area-wise, right? Where I live isn't trafficy, but to get anywhere is trafficy as fuck. So maybe this one? I've never lived close to LA. That would definitely count. Fresno is pretty bad, but functionally bad.
Yeah. Like, because the kind of drives we do in this area, we have to go through, I think, 3 choke points.
Major choke points where you've got like 2 or 3 different interstates joining the main interstate, and it just causes bumper to bumper constantly, right? So this might be the most trafficy area I've lived in. Arizona doesn't hold a candle. I'm just going through my head. Arizona doesn't hold a candle. Texas, Louisiana, nope. Yeah, I'd say I live in this area, right? Like I said, where I live actually isn't trafficy at all. But to
go somewhere,
if we want to go to a big city or we want to go out of the state or something, we're going through some fucking traffic. And then some.
And it's not rush hour traffic. It's just all day traffic.
You can't predict it because it's just there's
design.
Well, maybe it was good design 30 years ago when it was built, but it's bad design for the amount of people that have moved to this area in that 30 years.
Yeah.
It's just not sufficient to handle the amount of traffic on the road, and so it's constantly backed up. My biggest challenge when driving is judging distance. I don't know why I'm so horrible at it. I wait sometimes when someone is too far or might go too quick. Anxiety. Yeah. So I will be dead ass honest with you, and this is just from experience and being a passenger with a lot of different people and being a driver myself. Okay, and this is the single most dangerous thing that can happen to you. Or the single most dangerous trait you can have as a driver is being an overly cautious, anxious, and reactionary driver, right? It is also dangerous to be an aggressive driver, but it is more dangerous to be a hesitant, unsure, anxious driver. 100%.
Because that anxiety causes you to make sudden moves that
unpredictable
anticipate.
Right. It makes you unpredictable on the road because you signal that you're going to do something, you start to turn and then you don't, and then that's how shit.
Slow down because you're.
Yeah. You slow way down because you don't know where you're going and you don't know what to do or how to get over, and then you cause a pileup and shit. So that is the single most dangerous person on the road, is the person that thinks they're being super cautious and is super scared, and right? The second most dangerous person on the road is the hot dog that just is never going fast enough, right?
That's never patient.
Right.
That just wants to get where they're going.
Yep.
But the thing with those aggressive drivers is the reason they're not as dangerous as the timid drivers is you can generally spot them in
Yeah.
the general area,
Yeah.
and you can anticipate this guy's an aggressive asshole.
Yeah.
Keep my distance.
Yep. I almost prefer long drives because I almost cool down after enough and it all clicks. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I get into like a flow state when I'm driving. As the thing that kills me about driving is traffic. If I've got a long drive and I'm sitting in unpredictably long traffic and there's nothing I can do about it, it drives me fucking apeshit because it just undermines the entire point, right? I want to be in that state where I'm eating miles.
Yeah.
The car is flowing underneath me, the road is flowing around me, and I am just there, moving from one point to the next. I don't care how long it is. You've seen 18 hours on the road, I will be safe.
Yeah. Well, like the length of time on the road between that last road trip and the road trip before.
Yeah.
Like it was the same amount of time, but there was way less traffic.
Right.
Most recent.
Well, that last road trip we took was one of the most beautiful road trips I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah.
It was just an idyllic day, beautiful road trip. The traffic was perfect. You know, there were trafficy spots, but it was manageable and small, and and there was no time where I felt like I was just being held up because of somebody up there was stupid. And it was just great, right? And when roads and travel function like that, it's some of the most sublime shit. That's why I love driving, right? But you can't really plan to have a drive like that if you have no choice but to cut through a massively overpopulated city and a massively underrepresentative, freeway system that doesn't have enough lanes and doesn't have enough flow, right? Lack of patience has caused so many of the that's being a defensive driver means calculating all that shit as you go constantly, right? So I'm not really looking at the road much when I'm driving. I'm looking at the other cars, right? What is this guy doing? Is he maintaining his lane? Is he maintaining his speed? Does he look like he's trying to get over? Does he not?
And then I think what some people don't get is tap in the brakes. You don't, like, if you see someone brake in front of you, you want to slowly tap your brakes.
Yeah, you don't
just slam.
You don't want to have
ever.
Yeah. You never want to have to get on the brakes super hard because you're assuming that the person behind you is paying attention and driving defensively enough to where they can get on the brakes quick enough to stop. I've been rear-ended before.
Yeah. Well, also you don't know how good the person behind you's brakes are. Some brakes just simply can't stop as fast as other brakes.
Yeah. Well, heavier cars, heavier vehicles and stuff. Yeah. You get fucked up.
You should always brake slowly, if possible.
I got bumped in the ass one time when I was in San Antonio, Texas, and the dude was in a work truck. I pulled over to the side. It was traffic, and I was on an off ramp and waiting, and this dude just wasn't paying attention and just boom. Didn't do significant damage to either of our cars. Put a little dent in my bumper. Put a little scratch on his. He was in a big work truck. And he got out and he looked like he was about to cry because he was going to lose his job.
Yeah.
And I just looked at my bumper, I looked at his, and I was like, look, dude, no harm, no foul. Just be careful. He was like, oh, you serious, man? I was like, yes. I'm that kind of guy, though. Like, a little scratch on a bumper that could be buffed out is not worth involving the cops and insurance companies in a big fucking mess, right? I'm always going to be that guy. Now, you fuck up my car to the point where I'm going to have to take it to the body shop.
Or injure you to the
Or
point
injure me, yeah, then you're fucked.
I almost feel like injuring's probably more indicative of needing to go through that than even the car damage, because medical bills can go.
Well, that's true, but if your car's got a bumper hanging off of it, you got to take it to the shop. That can be hundreds of dollars, and you shouldn't be liable for that hundreds of dollars if somebody was being stupid. Yeah. So if it comes to that, yeah. But if there's a little nick,
it's like extra important if you're physically injured.
Yeah, it's a little incidental contact or something, you know what I mean? And there's no significant damage. I'm always the guy that's like, look, no harm, no foul. Everybody survived. Cars are drivable. Let's just let this one slide. But if, hey, the other person wants to go, I'm always down to go because I'm typically not at fault for these things. So,
What's the worst parking lot disease you've had, where someone hit your car when you weren't even in it?
Oh, so the first brand new car I ever bought was a Scion XB. I bought it in 2006. It was brand new. It was my first car, like, right off the lot. And I was so happy to have it as a silver Scion XB. And I took that thing out, I think it was the first week, and I went to a movie. And coming out of the movie, I went to open my car, and there was just somebody had just like,
Mm.
and I was like, you got me fucking kidding. Car was brand new, still smelled all nice inside. It was all clean. You know what I mean? That's the worst I ever got it. Parking lot disease happens, but I've never had, because it looked like somebody just literally just did it on purpose. Just slammed my fucking car. And it's like, why?
Do you ever have a mirror knocked off?
Mm-mm.
No. I think that's fairly common. That's why ours retracts mirrors, because that's a common parking lot thing. If
Yep.
someone hits too close or drives too close and knocks your mirror off.
Yeah. Who taught you how to drive? My dad started teaching me how to drive when I was like 7, which maybe is a little early, but we had go-karts and stuff, and he wanted me to understand the principle, right, of gas and brake and steering and all of that. And so around, I mean, I was driving like recreational type vehicles and stuff before 7. So my mom's got a video of me. I'm 5 and my little sister is 3. She's in my lap and we're on a now illegal 3-wheeler doing donuts in my backyard. And I'm 5. But I started driving my dad's Jeep at around 7 with his supervision, obviously. Learned how to clutch. And then when I got my first car, my dad, went back over it with me and we did the whole kind of thing. So yeah, I learned, he taught me how to drive.
You said the hair place is pretty close. It's gonna go till like 12:30 or something.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 miles from here. It's just in downtown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably leave out at like 12:20 or something like that, just to make sure I get there in plenty of time. And if he's
Available
early, then hey, cool. But yeah, the guys already know. I told them to. The only thing that I will have to do is when I get back, I will have to pull the news real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I got my document shared
Yeah.
with you and TJ.
the guys will share the docs and stuff, and I'll pull it real quick. It doesn't take long to pull, like 15 links or whatever while the guys are shooting the shit. So I'll just do that. And then I pull the goals as needed.
Mm-hmm.
That's been working really well. It's better than trying to manage a million tabs.
Mm-hmm.
So when we hit a goal, I just grab it.
Yeah, so TJ never solved his problem, huh?
Not yet. I don't know what the fuck it is. But whatever. It doesn't happen when he's over at Scotty's house.
Uh-huh.
And that's eventually where they're going to be shooting from. So,
Yeah.
You have a style in mind, or are you just going to let the style? Well, kind of half and half. Like, one of the reasons why I booked this guy is because he said he's good at style consulting or whatever, like looking at you and seeing what would look good on you and stuff. But I kind of want to do like a high and tight kind of fade thing. If you look at Peaky Blinders, the kind of hair that the main character has in that, like that, but a little less severe. I want to have something that's kind of got maybe a side part to it and leave some length up top. So like that, like a side part like this, leave some length up top for me to do stuff with, but nice and high and tight all the way around. Got a nice little side part here.
Have you had a side part before?
Yeah. When I was younger, this is how I used to do my hair. Side part like that. Nice and cleaned up all the way around. and then have him, trim back my beard, take the sides down quite a bit, but leave some length here.
Do the barbers react to your hair the same way as like the hairstylist? But I feel like if you went to like just a regular hairstylist, they'd be like, "What? You want to cut off all this beautiful hair?"
I don't know. I usually go to those, so I don't usually go to barbers.
Yeah.
So
When's the last time you even went to a barber?
the last haircut I got was at a bar. It was a chick.
Yeah.
But I wasn't cutting off all my hair.
Yeah.
So
I'm just like, he might be like, "Do you really want to do this, bro?"
the answer is yes. It's hair.
Yeah.
It'll grow back.
Because I think you mentioned one of your haircuts that you got fawned over.
Yes. Yeah. There was one of the first times I went in and got my haircut after I grew out way long. The lady was like, "Oh my God." And she went and got the other ladies, and they were all like running their hands through my hair and stuff. Yeah. I was like, "You want to cut all this off?" "No, I'm just getting a trim." But yeah, no, apparently I've got nice hair. Hello, Irishman. How did you know?
Yeah, that would be my concern with like just a regular hairstylist, is they would cut off less than you wanted cut off because they want to preserve your pretty hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because that happens sometimes with women too. Like they'll want a short haircut, but they just won't get a short haircut because the stylist thinks they know better.
Yeah. I've never really, like, what happened the one time I got my hair cut kind of short, like when I got it cut up to here, remember? Yeah. What she did was she started with less, fanned it out, said, "Okay, you want to do more?" "Yeah, all right." So she let me kind of like, and I ended up going shorter than I thought I would, because it just started to look better the shorter it went.
It's still not back to max length since you did that, though, I don't think.
No, I mean, that max, I don't ever want to let it get that long again. That was crazy. That started to get unmanageable for me.
Yeah. It sucks that your hair is so pretty but so hard to keep up.
That's the problem.
Because like mine's so thin that like it doesn't tangle super bad unless I just like didn't brush it for days or something.
Right. Well, mine is like, I would get mats.
Yeah.
Because like, I guess what a lot of people do is they put their hair up when they've got super long hair when they sleep. But I don't like doing that. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't feel comfortable to me, and so I would get like a sheepdog. I was matting.
Like Dinor.
Yeah. What's your most recent haircut fumble? Going for the fucking Steamboat Willie. I went for the Steamboat Willie, and it did not look good.
Dinor wants to show off.
You want to show everybody how pretty you are and how sweet you are? Yes. We gave Dinor his haircut. You see? You see how beautiful and majestic Dinor is? Because we gave him this haircut. We groomed him. That's right. We did his grooming. And doesn't he look handsome and majestic and regal and beautiful?
I think Aunt Chelsea had some notes, but she didn't give them.
Yeah. Because he still looks too cute.
Yeah.
He still looks cute.
How old is Dinor?
Dinor's 9. Dinor will turn 10 around January. Around January is when he was born, so around January he'll be 10.
And he's still sprinting up and down the stairs.
Oh yeah, he's still full of piss and vinegar. He's a sweet little old man.
I don't know about a sweet little old man. He's a pretty grumpy old
He's
man.
a grouch, but he's salty sweet. He's salty sweet. He's salty sweet. Dad. Lickery, stickery.
He hates children at play.
Yeah, children at play drive
Like,
him nuts.
When he barks just randomly, 9 times out of 10, it's kids playing outside.
Yeah. So in the show, this cut was uneven. It looks like it was done professionally to me.
I mean, you're looking at it from a distance, and he's kind of curly.
Yeah. He's a Monet right now, okay? You look at him from a distance, beautiful. You look at him up close, it's kind of like, what the fuck am I looking at? It's uneven. It's chunky and weird and longer than it should be in a couple of places and shorter than it should be in a couple of places. There's not a lot of uniformity to it, but mission accomplished because he doesn't have, we got all his mat problem areas cleaned up. His butt, his armpits, his toes, in between his toes was crazy. But we got them all out. He's mat free, all clean as a whistle, smelling good, looking good. And I was able to save most of his beard. I had to trim out a lot of his mustache. I was able to save most of his beard.
What? 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 Oh, you little goober.
Look what they did today. They by 10K.
Yeah, that makes it juicy. Yeah. Well, maybe our agent called their agent or something.
Well,
Just told them like what the reaction was, you know, to the things. Like, man, these things are raggedy. But whatever. Femboy Stormtroopers is the only kind I like. Oh. Okay. What, do you look so much better now? What?
Because you did the side part?
Oh, maybe. Maybe you like the side part. Paul, your opinion of YouTubers who exclusively make content helping the homeless and such, is it exploiting the homeless or is it good they're getting help? Both. You know, yeah, are they exploiting the homeless in order to make money? Yes.
But if they're reinvesting that money to help more homeless
Right.
people...
But if the money is, largely going to buy food and stuff for homeless people, then I think it's a pretty net positive.
Yeah. I mean, and every charity ultimately, like most charities are run where the people running the charity are getting paid,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of administrative expense and advertising
course.
expense.
Yeah.
So if YouTube's more efficient, you can cut out some middlemen.
Yeah, it's
maybe.
direct action and stuff, and as long as they're not like they're not doing like forcing the people to do stunts for the food or money or whatever, as long as they're just like hooking people up with a meal or something, I don't see the harm in it. I don't, it's is it exploitative to put that person on camera to make money off of their shit? A little bit, but if the net benefit of it is that that person got a meal or got a new pair of shoes or got a new backpack out of the deal that they needed, then I don't see the harm in it, It's not something I would worry too much about.
Yeah, it's not the least efficient charity model.
What if the homeless person doesn't want their problems blasted online? Well, typically when you film somebody like that on the street, you ask them for their consent. So if a homeless person, you walk up to them and say, hey, I'd like to help you out. Can I film you? I do a TikTok and I help out people that are struggling. And the person goes, no, fuck off. Then you can't put their shit. You know what I mean?
Not legally.
Right. You can't legally use them in your video, right? Well, I mean, you can use them as far as like them being, but then at that point you're doing content where you're just filming an irascible homeless person that doesn't want to be fucked with. You're not helping homeless people, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to like make content where you interview people and stuff, you have to ask their consent for it to go up, or you face legal repercussions and stuff, or you can, I mean, I guess you don't have to do it, but you want to cover your ass in those types of situations so that somebody doesn't come back and sue you. Let's be honest, the end product is mostly exploitative. That's what I said. It is exploitative to go to a homeless person that's in a tragic, horrible state and make a video about them and make a bunch of money on that video. But if some of that money that you made on the video was given to that homeless person in the form of food and shelter and clothing and whatever they needed at that moment, then I think it's a permissible exploitation because the net benefit is positive to the homeless person. They had a hot meal. They got a new pair of boots, whatever it is, right? They needed that. They got it. Somebody made money doing it. It's it's not something that I think I would ban or whatever because the net benefit is somebody got helped. Anyway, I'm done. The next time you see me, I will be less hairy.